Welcome to PPR Podcast number 239. My name is Paul, the star of the podcast. To my right, Mr. Bert Grossman. Bert, I've seen a lot of kids play high school football. I've been doing it for 41 years. I've been to 1,000 high school football games. Our next guest is in the conversation for the greatest high school football player I ever watched play.
I think Montel said that this morning. It was the greatest.
Yeah, he said that on today's.
Well, you introduce him then. We could break
all right,
tradition for
please
us.
put your hands together for a friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
2010 Silver Pigskin Winner, Mr. Dillon Baxter. Dillon, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Glad to be here.
Can't believe it took 239 of these to finally get you on, but it was just a random encounter, in fact.
Poway, yeah.
I didn't even know you were still living in town. I ran into you at Poway, and boy, a flood of memories came back. When you hear someone like me say greatest high school football player ever, I know that's going to open up a can of worms. I know there's he'll say Junior Seau, but there's a lot of great players. But does it make you feel good or does it make you feel bad?
Oh, I mean, it definitely, I'm not going to say I feel bad. It feels great, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things you just kind of had to be there to see it, Everyone who was around me, it was just a good time. And from what I remember, I mean, I never looked at it as, it was my show or anything like that. My whole team like that. My senior year was probably, I don't know, that was kind of the best experience in all of my life, really. So it was a good time.
I know you scored like 70 touchdowns. You were California Player of the Year. Did you guys, how far did you go in the playoffs? I can't remember.
They won it that year.
Did you win
Yeah,
it?
we went undefeated and won CIF that year.
So you were what division?
4.
I think,
Four.
what was it, 4?
You're D4.
Four.
So you were D4 champs. And then came the accolades of the most coveted honor in all of high school sports. Remember when you first hoisted the Silver Pigskin Trophy? That had to be a great moment that night inside the Hall of Champions.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you as well as anyone else probably the most. I wanted that thing for 4 years, so it finally it felt good to get it that last year, for sure.
Paul was saying that it's interesting you brought up the greatest player you ever saw. I had a similar when I was growing up in Pennsylvania. The greatest player I ever saw play was a kid named Brian Davis, #1 run back in the country. Came to Pitt and then had a little too much freedom. So I'm going to ask you, because LA and Hollywood's way different than Pitt. How much distraction, pressure for an 18-year-old kid is it to go up there, especially in those days when that was like the USC?
So I'll say this, right? This is kind of a learning point for really any kid that has the privilege to go D1 and live that thing. From my experience, I mean, no matter where you go, right? I mean, it's the same thing no matter where you go. But my thing was I couldn't figure out if you're not doing the right thing, you're doing the wrong thing, right? So there is no in between. There's just no in between. And I think the biggest part that I couldn't figure out was once you get to that level of play, it's not too, I mean, don't get me wrong, you got to produce on the field, right? But it's more so character and who you are. That's what everyone's looking at, right? I mean, you're representing a big university or whoever it may be. If you got dreams to go to the NFL, right? They're going to pay you all these millions of dollars, right? I mean, of course you got to be good, but they want to know who you are, what you're about, how dedicated are you, how you carry yourself, all that's important. And I couldn't figure that out. I was young, the only thing that was in my head was, if I produce on the field and I do everything I need to with football, the rest should take care of itself. And that's not the case. So, I think the biggest part is just knowing what you're getting into. It's not just football anymore, for sure. So no matter where you go, it's all about choices, right? Whatever choices you make is the path you're going to take. So
Do you think if Pete Carroll wouldn't have went to Seattle and stayed at USC, would that have made a difference?
I mean, my natural thing to say is, of course it would, right? But still at the end of the day, it comes down to, what type of choices an individual makes, Yes, I would love to say that it would have been a whole different situation. I already had a big connection with Carroll, especially when he left. I was kind of rushed. I didn't really have the opportunity to kind of seek other colleges and whatnot. So, I mean, there was, people come up to me and ask me all the time, like, hey, like, what happened? Like, what's the story? And honestly, it's too much. Like, I don't really have an answer for it. My only thing is, of course, when I was coming up, it seemed promising. Best player in the country at the time. All I really had to do was just walk the straight line, right? But there's just many factors that come into it. Life has a funny way of teaching you things, So, but who knows?
When was the first hint to you, or maybe to the public? Because I remember seeing you as a freshman in the spring game, and you were scoring touchdowns. And I thought, wow, this kid's going to be the next. He's going to eclipse Reggie Bush, and then it started getting hints of things going sideways. Take me behind the curtain, because you and I lost contact at that point.
Right.
What was the first red flag in your view? What was the first red flag in USC's view?
Let's see. The very first thing that happened was me getting suspended for that first game, right? That was for the Hawaii game. And that was me, it was during camp. During camp they put us in dorms, and for 2 weeks, like it's nothing but football. That's all you're doing, right? We wake up at, like 6 a.m. and then we got football all day until about 8 o'clock, right? And then you stay in that dorm, and you're not supposed to. That's it, right? No girls, no nothing, no leaving. And me being 18, thinking I could outsmart the system, had my girlfriend come down at the time, and I walked out of the building, and so I got suspended. That was the first thing that ever happened. And then from there, I don't know, just I can't even really recall right now, but I mean, the next thing that comes to my head was the golf cart ride incident, right? Which was a weird situation in itself. I was running late to class. A friend of mine that was at USC, I asked him to give me a ride to class, and it turns out he didn't even think about it neither, but the day before he took the test to become an agent, and so I got in trouble and got suspended for accepting privileges, right, from an agent. So I mean, it was just a weird snowball, because I was never a bad kid, right? I wasn't out there, being a criminal or anything like that, but that's where everything just kind of kept going, right? And I'll give you a little insight, right? So after that incident, right, like I always on the field, I always killed, right? And like I always was producing all this stuff. And at our practices, we always have the newspaper people, interview people, whoever, right? And their main thing, they would be like, Dillon, why aren't you starting? Why aren't you starting? Right? Like, what's going on? And I wasn't really allowed to talk about anything, but like I said earlier, right? If you're not doing the right thing, you're doing the wrong thing, right? And so the stuff off the field, as far as like class, I made good grades, but I was being late to class. Sometimes I would be late to workouts. The small things, right? Like just small things like that was keeping me off the field, and that's honestly all it takes. So that's kind of where that started happening. And then I got my stuff together, doing the right thing, going to class, blah, 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 doing good in football. And then the next thing that happened, which kind of took a hold of me, right, for a lot of my life, was I got hurt. They gave me painkillers, and then I kind of took that route. Turns out I liked the way painkillers made me feel. So I got addicted to painkillers, and it's been like that for a long time, even after football was done. So now, I think I've been sober for about 4.5 years now. So it took me a while. Took me a while. I'm pretty sure I'm leaving out a lot of things, but that's kind of the quick version of it.
Are you confident? Put all the trouble aside. You could play at? Are you in your heart of hearts? Do you know you could play at that level?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when it came down to football, when it came to football, I mean, football was easy for me. It was real easy. Making people miss, that was my thing, right? Like that, it just came to me like second nature. So football was never the question. Um, it just came down to what I was doing off the field, right? And all that matters. So, but as far as football, no, that was never a question for me.
You bring up the, excuse me, you bring up the making people miss. I was at I think it was modern day, you were playing in the playoffs and you were playing quarterback, and you had one touchdown run. I counted 9 people you made miss from modern day, and then just that one play, and I was like, God, because you weren't like burning fast, you weren't out running people, you were just making them miss in a phone booth.
So I've seen a lot of football, right? Not only played, but I've seen a lot too. And there's really only a certain few that really know the instinct thing, right? Making people miss, right? I don't know. You really can't teach it. It's just kind of like the guy that's playing right now that I can kind of say that has the best is probably what's his name? Beijing
The guy
Robinson
for Atlanta. You put on a show
Atlanta.
last night, right?
Right, last
Bijan
night.
Robinson?
It's hard to get him. I mean, if you watch him, you'll never get a full piece of him, ever. It's just hard. It's something that you can't teach. But yeah, that was my thing, man. Just making people miss and capitalizing off of it.
So then the USC thing ends, and then comes the SDSU option. And you were there, we were thinking, okay, this is going to be magic. I remember thinking, okay, God, this is going to be perfect. He's going to be the guy, he's going to be the next Marshall Faulk. He's going to make USC look silly. And then you were gone before you were here, or it seemed like you were here for just a brief. What happened with the Aztecs?
It was locker room issues. I'll just leave it at that. It was locker room issues, and it didn't work out there for me.
Hey, can I go back to the USC thing? I mean, it's interesting. You told me your freshman year at camp, you broke the rules with your girlfriend and brought her down. Then you were late to some workouts, which I don't remember a single person being late to 4 years of my college workout. I mean, it's just a no-no. It doesn't happen. You're 10 minutes early.
Right.
Do you think that's because you were so good, do you think you got a lot of leeway, no accountability through youth and through high school, that it was just a habit at that point? Because there wouldn't be consequences?
No, I mean, I honestly don't even know. Like, I was just, because, like, in high school, like, I'm not that type of guy, right? I'm not going to use, just because who I am, right? So I can be late, or I can do this, right? I wasn't that type of guy. So, I mean, at USC, like, I would be like, 5 minutes late. I mean, if you're 2 minutes late, you might as well be an hour late, right? So, I mean, I was just, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. And, I don't know if that has to do with kind of how I was raised, because I'm an only child, right? I grew up with my mom. So my mom kind of, she woke me up on time. She made sure I was doing what I was supposed to do and all this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know how to answer that really, right? But again, if I think of me at that age, I don't think I got what the big picture was. I couldn't understand.
Are you haunted by that? I mean, are you haunted by what might have been?
Honestly, Paul, for a long time I was, of course, for a long time I used to go over in my head, like, why couldn't I just do this right? Why couldn't I do that? And if I did that, where would I be right now? And not a question of where, like I knew I'd be in the NFL, but like, would I be the best one of the best that ever played it? Would I have set records? Would I have a Super Bowl? Things like that. But, now with everything I've been through, I've honestly been through a lot, and, at some point I found myself, I would just wake up, some days and like, just like kind of pray and like hope, like if I could just be happy, like with my life and what I got going on, then I'll be satisfied with that. And it took me a long time to get here. It took me a long time, right? Paul, everyone who I was up there on the stage with, they all went to the NFL, right? Besides Brandon Clay and Ricky Seal. But I'm still real good friends with Tony and Kenny. So that would get to me a lot. But the way I look at it now is, yes, I wanted to, would have been nice to go to the NFL? Yes. Would have been nice to have a good college career? Yes. Right? All that would have been great. But I guess sometimes what you dream is not what's supposed to happen. Right? So, I'm looking at it as now as I can just, kind of share my story. And yeah, all that would have been great, but it would have had a time on it. Right? I feel like with my story and what I can provide for these kids, I think that can help for a lot longer than my career would have been.
Well, can I
That's
tell
the
you,
way I'm looking at it.
the fact that you're doing this podcast speaks to that loudly. And the guy I met at Poway seemed healthy and happy and proud of his young son who's going to follow in the footsteps. Can I just tell you something? I meet a lot of young people, Dillon, on a regular basis. Very few can maintain eye contact. Very few can shake a hand like a man should shake a hand. Your young man came up, stared me in the eye, asked a question, shook a hand. That doesn't happen by accident. So somebody in his life, and I think I'm talking to that person, is teaching that youngster how to make his way in the world. You should be really, whether he gains 1,000 yards or 10, you should be very proud, because that is so rare in today's youth. So take a bow, and I don't know who else is involved, but please pass that along. Speak to your son a little bit for us.
I will. Man, he's a good kid.
What's his name again?
His name is Bo. So I got two boys. Watch this, Paul. I got him, that's Bo, and then I got Jackson, Bo Jackson. You like that?
And do they both play ball?
So he's 13, Bo's 13, and then my other one is 1.5.
So it's a little early.
Big age difference. But in all defense to my girlfriend that I got in trouble with, she's my wife now. So it worked out for us.
Wait, the one you snuck into the dorm is your wife now?
She's my wife.
Well, you know what? That kind of brings the story full circle. And
thank God.
But Dillon, it's really a powerful tale to tell, because a lot of kids, now very few are ever going to have your prep career, but a lot of kids are going to get D1 offers. This guy was, I'm sitting next to another Dillon Baxter who was told how great he was for. I
still wasn't late for anything. I knew that.
Well,
I wasn't Dillon.
Yeah, but you also never lifted a weight in your life.
That's true. And I never had a girlfriend.
But the point of the matter is I think it's such a cautionary tale that you can tell. There's a career for you just in going around from campus to campus talking to kids.
No, yeah, for sure. That's something I'm looking into too. I just wanted to make sure, I was okay and on the right path. Yeah, man. To me, the biggest lesson I learned is if you're not doing the right thing, you're doing the wrong thing. There's no in between, So that was the biggest lesson for me as far as being that caliber athlete, right, and going D1. There's no in between. There's always something that you should be doing at all times, really. And I encourage, young athletes now that are in high school coming up, like, you need to be prepared for that. If that's not what you want, then I suggest you don't go that route, because it's not going to work out for you. It just won't. Um, I love my wife with all my heart, but that's another thing. I mean, if you want to be great, like, you don't have time for a girlfriend. You just don't. Even if it's the best girlfriend, she cheers you on, you guys don't fight, she leaves you alone and all this. Regardless, at the end of the day, a good girlfriend still needs time. She needs time. You got to dedicate time to her, and you just don't have it. There's not enough time to dedicate to her if you want to do the things you need to do in ball. So, I mean, I definitely have the blueprint for a lot of athletes, on what not to do. I can tell you that. Um, Other than that, man, like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at.
So Baker ended up probably a good thing for you, correct?
Not necessarily. No, I mean,
Well,
I'm not.
I mean, besides having nothing to do in the town,
Well,
why was it bad?
Was the pain medication still an issue at Baker?
Oh yeah, no. So the pain, like I said, I've only been sober now for the past 4 years. Like, that went from college all the way through my 20s. Um, After football was done, like, I kind of went to, like, a dark place. Like, it took me I'm telling you, a long time. Um, it took me a very long time. It took me a long time to get okay with what's happened, what I've done. Um, and because of what I did as far as football, right, that created an image for me, right? So to some degree, like, I was kind of embarrassed, that I kind of didn't, live up to what I was supposed to be, or any, like, just that I couldn't do what I was supposed to do. I just couldn't. And so it took me a long time to be okay with just being okay. So, um, when I went to Baker, though, I was not in a good mind frame. Like, I went from USC to Baldwin City, Kansas, one stoplight. We have one stoplight in town. Um, Now, don't get me wrong, I'm super thankful for the situation and the coach taking me in, and the experience I got to have with them. But I mean, my mind wasn't in the right place, so you know it is what it is.
But it's still, I remember did the Chargers work you out, or you got NFL workouts, did you not?
Yeah, so the first one, I went to camp with Seattle, and then that didn't work out, and then I got to work out with the Chargers.
And why didn't those work out? Or do you think that was just public relations on the Chargers' part or something? Or what happened there that?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't know. Don't know.
Man.
And then, so after that was done, I tried to. What did I try to do after that? Tried to get into CFL, right? Tried to do that for a little bit, but that's really when I started getting into pills, like, real heavy, the painkillers, and I couldn't get myself together. So, I mean, if you're living that way and you're not doing the right thing, nothing's going to work out.
I mean, Ryan Leaf and Brett Favre, there are a lot of people that could join this conversation and speak volumes to about what you're talking about, how once you go down that road, every other road becomes more difficult to traverse because every decision
Right.
you made is revolving around your next vial. And
don't get me wrong, I guess apparently there's people, for example, Brett Favre, right? He was still able to play when he was on painkillers for many years, but I guarantee you, just from being in that arena, right, and doing those pills, I guarantee you, football was one thing, but his life probably was a whole nother thing. right? There's
Probably
going to
mess.
be something off.
Yeah.
Like there has to be.
Who do you
There's
credit?
just no way around it.
Who do you credit for helping you, as far as kicking that part of your life?
Right, and that's another thing, right? I don't really have anyone to credit, right? Like there was like I tried a few rehabs, didn't work. You know, people would reach out to me. I didn't want to talk to them. And there was no, you know, there's no classes or there's no university or school that teaches you on how to beat addiction. There is no blueprint for it, right? So honestly, the thing that, like, honestly, I just got tired. I got tired. Like I got tired and beat up for so long, and 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 lucky. I got lucky plus that, and so one day I was just done, and you know I've been good ever since.
You know,
So
I'm thinking you're listening to Dillon. I appreciate your candor. I think we need more honesty on topics like this. But I know there's regret at the football not working out. But man, you got to be thankful for what you do have. You have 2 healthy kids. You have a loving wife, and you're still above ground because not everyone makes it this far dealing with the things you dealt with.
right, and since I'm being, oh goodness, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. All right. And since I'm being honest here, right? So that was another thing, right? During my addiction, like I started losing everything, right? I started losing my family. Like I wasn't, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't fun to be around. You know, I wasn't the same Dillon that everyone was used to. All my friends, I'm not gonna like I kind of left them alone, like they left me alone. And you know, me being me, I didn't even want to be around them like that, right? But like I just wasn't. I lost my girlfriend, my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend. Like she left me. She took my son. Um, you know, I was losing everything. You know, and so when something that used to come across my mind was like dang, I lost everything. Like what do I do? You know, and people used to tell me, I remember in those rehabs, there was a couple people that told me, they was like, Dillon, if you just do the right thing, you'll get everything back. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Like my girlfriend's not gonna come back to me. She had got another boyfriend. She ended up moving to Dublin. Um, I mean, it was just a whole bunch of stuff. And I got my stuff together, and you know it turned out those people was right. Like I got my girlfriend back, I got my family back, I got my friends back. Me and my we got married. We had another kid. So I'm definitely thankful. You know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be thankful. You know, I got a lot to live for. My most joy right now probably is watching my son play ball, coaching him. So he's everything to me. But yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful. I'm happy. Um, you know, me doing the right thing. What it led me back to you, Paul.
Well,
If I didn't get my stuff together, I would have not been walking around that field, right?
right, right.
So,
And I hope this is not the last time you and I chat, because I'd like to be a resource for you as you launch your. Dude, everybody's looking for authentic stories out there, especially on the circuit of helping people. Because I imagine, and I don't know if this is inappropriate to bring up, but I'm gonna just risk it. But when things are going that south, suicidal thoughts have to be creeping through your head, and we have a suicide epidemic in our country, often drug related. And was there, in your darkest days, did you ever think, man, this ain't worth doing anymore?
I never got there. I never got there, right? I mean, number one, probably I'm too scared to do that, I think. But luckily for me, I never got there, but I just got, how do I put it? I was kind of just giving up, right? Like I was giving up, and that was hurting me because I'm used to it, not just football, but like I like being the best in whatever it is. We can be playing checkers. I'm trying to beat you, right? So like at that point, I felt like life is beating me. Like it felt like painkillers was like a Ray Lewis on steroids. I couldn't get past it, and you know, I mean, it's weird. My whole thing was what I've learned is, I mean, if you buckle down, right, and a lot of people, Paul, a lot of people in those situations, some people don't have too much to fight for, right? So that makes it even harder for them. But in my situation, I mean, I had a lot to fight for, and I got beat up for so long, and then with a lot of luck on my side, like it worked out for me. Most people it doesn't work out for,
I know.
and it's super unfortunate.
Well,
A lot of people die. They either die or what, end up in prison,
yeah, the morgue and prisons are full of people who it didn't work out for.
right? And there's people dying in prison
Yeah.
from overdosing. So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. I just know my little piece of that broad, discussion is, I got beat up for so long and I had luck on my side. That's what worked for me.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna let's leave it there for this time, but we're gonna do this again. What's next for you?
Man, honestly, the thing I'm focused on right now is coaching my son. So this is his last year in 8th grade. I'm trying wherever he goes to high school. I want to be a coach there so I can stay with him. So that, and then, like you said earlier, I'm trying to spread my word. I'm trying to, save a life or two somewhere with all these athletes. So someone needs it. I wish I would have. I think the thing that I can do that a lot of other guys can't do, I've been where they want to be. I was the best, right? And I did fall. And, I came up strong and now I'm doing my thing, right? So I think I'll have an ear. I'll have an ear to a lot of these athletes. So,
Last question. How old are you now?
33.
If the 33-year-old Dillon Baxter met the 18-year-old Dillon Baxter, what would he say?
Man, I don't know. It would kind of be a lot, honestly, but to try and just brief it down, I'd probably tell him to like, look, either, lock in or focus, or you can lose it all real quick.
I appreciate your candor, and I suspect we're going to be seeing more of one another in the not so distant future. I have an idea that I'd like to float past you, but I don't want to do it while we're on the air. So, Dillon, thanks a lot, and I'll be in touch. Send me those pictures, okay?
I will, Paul. It's always a pleasure.
PPR Podcast number 239 is over. Turn off the machines, everybody.